Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? Well, for me, this is Terrible Tuesday. Not Taco Tuesday today. Terrible Tuesday. Man, I had a terrible morning. Absolute forgettable morning. The only thing that brought me out of the bottom was an earnings trade. We talked about that early on. That's what I said. Probably the only thing that can get me out of this hole is an earnings trade. Trying to find other trades and afternoon trades just wasn't, it doesn't cut it, especially in a market like we had today. It was a little choppy. There were some stocks that did trend pretty nicely, but I wasn't in it. I was just in the wrong stocks, and it wasn't anything I did wrong. It's just that these stocks did not work out today. For one reason or another, that just didn't. But before we look at this today, I want to remind you guys, Thursday we're doing a live stream right here on YouTube. You get to hang out with me in the morning, get to watch me trade the same strategies that I teach in the same way. That's why I do it. That's why I stream my platform live, because I don't want to be a person that just teaches and tells you this to do this, and that, and I don't do it myself. And then you can't see me do it. So really, really important that I do this. So come and join me on Thursday, 8:30. Come spend the morning with me. When I go to lunch, that's when we kind of wrap it up. But it's all live and in real time. It's not chopped up. You get to see it win, lose, or draw. Some weeks you've seen us take hits, and some weeks we've been really, really good. It just depends on the market. And again, stock selection. Sometimes it's just a luck. It's just a luck of the draw. But come join me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe so that you get notified when I go live. And sometimes I may stream live without notice. Maybe something going on and I want to, do something. So if you're subscribed, you get notified when that happens. All right, so first move of the day, TNDM. On our watch list on earnings, they reported earnings. I can't remember if it did this morning or if it did it the night before, but was really nice. Okay, in here, it was all garbage. Obviously, I was pulling for it to go short at the open because that's where I had the best windows, but it ended up going long. And it pushed itself through the 200, the 20, and the 50 daily moving average. And it pushed over red to green. We had this big, strong candle at the open. This candle opened, and it was solid green. It was all solid green when I got in. We ran up about 50 cents, and the bottom fell out of this. Now, if you notice, this is a main account. We all know what happened with AverageJoeTrader, and we're looking at working on getting another small account. I really was encouraged with the CME group people. Should be able to finalize something this week and get the ball rolling on that. So I may have it up and running before the end of the year. I don't know if I was thinking with emotions or whatever earlier in the week or through this weekend when I said we'll just start it back January 1st. But it looks like the process is not going to take long at all. And we may have that up and running, here in a week or two. So we'll see that. And the reason why I say that is because me trading my larger account, I'll trade larger size. And sometimes it gets frustrating because I'm not going to give it any more room. I'm still going to have the same amount of room, but with larger size, you're going to lose more money. So instead of me, losing $200 in my small account, then I may lose $600 or $700, and it is pretty much the same as it relates to the account size. But if you're trading a smaller account and you happen to be able to take 500 shares of this, you may not be happy losing any money if you took this trade and you tried to follow my position size. So it can get frustrating. And that's why I only stream the small account. That's why I don't talk about other strategies a lot or really trade them live, because I don't want people following the wrong things when you're trying to grow your account. So I know it could get frustrating at times. So I'm going to try to bring it back as soon as possible. But getting back to this, it broke the 5-minute opening range high. But obviously, I've got to wait for it to break the 50 and break this red to green line. So we went green on the day. I got in. I mean, we're a solid green candle. This thing is showing all kinds of strength. And all of a sudden, the rug gets pulled out. I glance over at the market that had been ticking up all pre-market. It's selling off. And I'm like, oh man. It just had to happen. But if I saw this for the next 3 weeks every morning, I would still take the same setup. There's no way of knowing why the bottom fell out. There's no way of knowing what happened. Obviously, somebody pulled the plug on this, and it came all the way back in, and it never really pushed up anymore. I mean, it tried, but it just couldn't. So whoever was doing this was really, really strong, and I just got ate up on it. Now, I did get a little bit of slippage. I was giving this $1.50. So I got in at 62.90, and I was supposed to give it, a little bit more, like $1.50, but it washed out so hard, it slipped on me a little bit. I didn't have a hard stop in. I was manual. Normally, I don't put a hard stop in until after the first candle prints because of the volatility, but this was just too much and ended up taking it off. So the morning started out really, really bad, and this was the second bad deal. All right, so, and you'll see this in a minute, because Roku, we didn't dance together today. Roku slapped me. Well, excuse my language, but Roku bitch slapped me this morning and then knocked me down and danced on top of me. So after yesterday having this beautiful dance, he turned on me. So, we'll see that in a minute, but you'll see what happened here. This is just a setup that failed. There was everything about me taking this trade. Everything was right. Everything was looking good. No way I was going to think this would fall back through all of these moving averages the way it did. But it did hit my max loss stop. And, I got about 25, 35 cent slippage on that, which added an extra $150 to my loss. So instead of 833, it should have been around a little over 6, like 7, between 650 and $700, and that's okay. Okay, that would, if you relate that to my small account, that's like losing 150, $200. So there's nothing wrong about this. I know it looks bigger than what I normally have, but it's a bigger account, so it's going to be a little different. So Roku, remember I told you what Roku did. I had that position on from last night, 300 shares I had left. And I decided to hold it because I really had the feeling that we were going to gap up. And if you look pre-market, we were looking pretty decent for a gap up here. But this thing opened and the bottom fell out of this thing. I could not hold it. 139.53 was the line in the sand. And we just washed through that like it wasn't there. I had to take it off. About 20 seconds out, not even 20 seconds, 10 seconds after I took it off, this thing started ramping back up. Came all the way back up, went through the 200, where I probably would have taken this off, or at least taken a part of this off and then stopped out at break even. But I was already out. And so, of course, I'm going to be pretty mad. But still, even though this kind of upset me early, this was still a solid entry and still a solid trade. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It just that this setup did not work on this trade, on this stock today. It just didn't. So after that, I came back and I started looking at Roku. And I'm like, hey, you know what? If it breaks this low, I'm going to get in and going to look for this thing to sell out because the next level was down around 135. So we were under this 139.53. We broke through the 5-minute opening range low. But this wasn't really an opening range low trade. I guess technically you could say it was, but it wasn't to me. I was kind of, looking to play the trend on this early. But you can see we sold off a little bit and then it ramped up, rejected the 9 and the VWAP and 20 up here, and then came screaming back down. So once it stopped me out, I had to stop out because it hit my max loss. I had to. And then as it came screaming back down, a little bit of revenge, I jumped in and was able to catch a piece down here. And as we bounced and we started to come back, but we bounced here again, made a higher low. Here's where I should have exited right here. I should have exited right here, but I didn't do it. And I just let it go to all the way back to break even. I could have locked in about $300, I believe, in here if I had taken it off, or maybe $200. But I gave all of it back and stopped out at break even, where I really needed to take a dent out of the sea of red that this thing had put me in. But that was a mistake. That was just a mental mistake. Because I was down, I was trying to wait for it to come back so I can get a bigger chunk out of this. And that's just letting the wrong things get in your head. And that's what happened on that. On Shake Shack, this is one that traded really well. Nice opening range trade. There was no opening range high trade. Even though it tipped above it, you got the 200, you got the 100 here, you got this level here. No room to trade this. So there was no entry. There was no setup for opening range, a 5-minute opening range high break. Even though it went up, you're not going to buy it into that. So we sold off, came back down through it, and of course you're not going to short it right on the break with this level sitting here. So we bounced off this level, rejected the 9 again. As soon as we break this level, this pre-market low right here, there's your entry. Now we did bounce a little bit but we held this resistance, and it ended up selling off. Would have given you a decent move. This wasn't the biggest of moves, but it was decent. You would have made some decent money on this. We bounced, rejected the 20 and the 9 here, and it's on SSR. So I'm trying to get an order set up so that once this thing, sells through, I can, it can pop back and hit it. And I typed it in wrong and ended up getting hit early. And, I wasn't going to take it out, because if it still had an opportunity to go. Even though this wasn't an opportune entry, still had a chance to go. It didn't. It stopped me out. And at this point, I'm a little bit hot. Okay. We've got TNDM that nailed me, Roku that nailed me, and now this. So a little bit of revenge trading kicked in. You can see there's no long entry right here. Nothing but revenge. I just said, damn, I'll take it long then. And because obviously we're not going to go back. We made a higher low here, held the support, it bounced, and it's pulling back. I'm like, I'm going to buy it off of this. I don't care. And that's what happened. And did get the first target up here. It came close here, but it finally hit it on this one. And I was looking for the 100. It didn't make it. It came back and stopped me out a little below break even. Huge mistake here. And then another revenge. I'm going to jump short. No reason to jump short right here yet. Look at just revenge trading is what it is. Everything was just, I got to get back. It's just not right. So my attention turned to earnings. And you guys know I did the earnings email today. I told you I was going to start that up this week. Started sending out the stocks I'm looking at for earnings. And, basically what you get is information that I put together from the Earnings Whisperers website. And then I send you articles for you to read so that you could be familiar with what's going on. So when you're looking at earnings, it's not about whether they beat the earnings per share estimate or beat the revenue estimate. It's all about guidance. Where does the market value this stock 6 to 8 months from now? Where does the market see it? Where do the analysts see this stock being 6 to 8 months from now? That's what we're looking at. So if you look at this, we don't really care about the trends. It's good to know where the trends are. But we're looking for expected growth. What does the market expect going forward? And we're looking at 6 to 8 months out. So we're looking at guidance. Now, sometimes stocks are going to be manipulated. Bad guidance is going to be put out. Misleading guidance. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And we get caught in it sometimes, but it's few and far between. So the main thing is I'm looking for this. I'm reading the articles, wanting to know. Let's see, Benzinga puts out one. Market Watch may put out one. Different people put out different articles. So I'm reading it, and I'm going to get a good feeling for it. And this stock, it told me that we were probably going to gap down. I'm looking at this. There's no way we're going to gap to all-time highs. I just don't see it. Not all-time highs, 52-week high. I just didn't see it with the bad projections that we had. The analysts had rated this as a sell, and it's been reiterated. Even though we're seeing this stock being held up, I had no faith in it that it's going to go. Based on everything I saw, it looked like a short. And then we look at the chart that day, because that's going to tell us, is this thing being manipulated? Are they running this up, trying to bait people long, and they're going to take this thing short? And that's exactly what was happening. So this is what we talk about in the earnings. It's part of what we talk about in the class. But this comes directly from the Earnings Whispers website. Yeah, I pay to get a subscription because this is data I need to make my living. And it's a cost of doing business. One thing that when you get going, you got to understand there's certain tools you're going to need, and it's all about the cost of doing business. So I sent out WW, I sent out KAR. Both of these I expected to gap down based on the expectations, not only for the next earnings season, for this last quarter, but for the first quarter of next year. I'm looking 6 to 8 months out. And both of these showed short, and both of them did gap down. So the one that I got was WW. Remember, you got to get in this before the market closes. Or, now here's the thing. I've got some traders that trade it similar to me, and I've got some that'll wait for that initial candle to go, and then they'll trade, once it settles. Me, I'm looking for the gap, and, I'm going to trade the gap. Typically, you don't get them to wash this hard. So a lot of times they don't wash this hard. They kind of work their way down. But every now and then you do, just like opening range breakouts. Sometimes you get explosive breakouts. Sometimes you get the slower ones. I like the slower ones. Reason being, I'm in my car. I've got one laptop, one little screen, little 11-inch laptop that I'm trying to do this on. So it's coming down, it washes. I don't even get to take profit here. It's all the way down here. Instead of me taking profit, I freaking short some more. So I go from 300 shares to 600 shares, and I'm like, oh shit. And so I go to take, I'm supposed to be taking what I added off, ended up taking the whole position off. So at this point, I'm really pissed off because, this could turn into a really, really good trade. I still needed to get this down here. I still needed to get to 31, and I'm all out. So guess what? I get mad again, and I jump short here, which I should have gotten in up here. But I argued with myself for a little while. I got in here, did take some more profit off, but I still have 250 shares left. Waiting to see if this was going to sell off. The conference call came on, nothing. So waited. We're going to a basketball game, so I don't know. We'll see. But really disappointed. Today was just not a good day execution-wise for me. I messed up everything. Some other stuff happened this morning that just kind of got me out of sync. I had to take care of some stuff for my son, and it was just one of those days. So we're going to wipe the slate clean. Tomorrow, I have to go to MUSC, so I won't be trading. The room will be up. I'll check in with you guys. Got to go. MUSC is in Charleston, so it's like an hour and a half drive. When I get there, they do have Wi-Fi at MUSC, so I can get on, and I'll check back in with you Last time I was there, I did get to take a trade with you guys, so we'll see how tomorrow turns out. But Thursday, remember, Thursday we're back here live stream on YouTube. Don't forget about it. And should have some final news for you on my small account and how that's gonna, whether I am gonna go with CMEG and how long it's gonna be before it gets back going. So that's that. That's my day. I'm gonna enjoy some Gamecock women's basketball, and I'll see you guys in the morning.